Stop scrolling. This isn't conspiracy. It's a warning rooted in ancient truths, and it's already begun. August is no ordinary month. The systems we rely on, mental, digital, even spiritual, are starting to collapse. If you are not prepared, you will be left behind. The signs are not coming, they're already here. And in the next few minutes, I will reveal what few dare to say out loud. The shutdown is not just external, it's internal. Listen closely. Most people think shutdowns begin with external forces, governments, power grids, social platforms collapsing, economic disruptions. But the real shutdown doesn't start out there. It starts within. It begins the moment your awareness slips. It begins the moment you start reacting instead of responding. The true collapse is invisible, silent. It doesn't announce itself with sirens or breaking news. It happens the moment your mind becomes the prisoner of your fear. We live in a time where everything is pulling at your focus. Everything is engineered to fracture your attention. And so, the first and most dangerous shutdown is not of the internet or the financial systems. It is the shutdown of mental clarity, of internal stillness, of conscious breath and deliberate thought. Once that goes, everything else follows. You lose your center, you lose your strength. You begin to operate from a place of panic rather than power. This internal shutdown doesn't look dramatic on the outside. You still show up, still scroll, still speak. But inside, something's off. You feel it in your breath shorter. You feel it in your chest tighter. You feel it in your spirit disconnected. And still most won't recognize it. They'll blame stress or the news or the heat. But the truth is they've already shut down. Their awareness has dimmed. Their discipline has gone to sleep. They've been hijacked. Without even realizing it, it starts subtly. One day, you skip your morning practice. You wake up and check your phone instead of your breath. You absorb a flood of noise before your mind has even stabilized. That single act tilts your balance. Then come the choices. You eat what numbs instead of what fuels. You speak what pleases instead of what's true, and slowly you drift from your own center. The collapse spreads from the mind to the body to the spirit. That is the true shutdown, silent, total, internal. In ancient disciplines, they didn't speak of shutdowns the way we do now. They didn't talk about systems collapsing or technology breaking. They spoke of a deeper danger, the moment a person loses their presence. Presence is power. Presence is awareness. When that goes, you become reactive, automatic, mechanical. You start moving without purpose, speaking without intention, and thinking without clarity. You begin living in patterns that no longer serve you because the conscious self has shut down. And this is exactly what August brings if you're not prepared. This isn't about fear, it's about readiness. Because what's coming is not just another round of chaos, it's an intensification. Energy is shifting fast. The frequency of the world is accelerating. And those who are not grounded will get swept away, not by an external storm, but by their own disordered mind. When fear rises, the body tenses. When the body tenses, the breath shortens. When breath shortens, awareness fades. And when awareness fades, you no longer see, you react. You become easy to manipulate, easy to distract, easy to control. That's how shutdown begins. Not with force, but with consent. You allow it by forgetting your breath, by abandoning your center, by drifting into noise. To survive August, to survive any collapse, you don't need more information. You need more intention. You need rituals that restore your clarity before the world even begins to speak. You need moments of silence stronger than the loudest headline. You need breath work that stabilizes your nervous system before it gets hijacked by adrenaline. You need routines that bring order to your inner world even when the outer one is falling apart. This preparation is not glamorous. It's not urgent. That's why most people skip it. But when the shutdown comes, and it is coming, you will see the difference. Those who prepared in silence will move with grace. They will breathe when others panic. They will act when others freeze. Because their foundation is internal, they trained for collapse by building something unshakable inside. So look around you. Everything appears to be fine. Systems are still running. Screens are still glowing. But behind the surface, people are breaking. Not loudly, quietly. Slowly their minds are dull, their spirits are heavy, their purpose is forgotten. That's the emergency. Not what's on the news, but what's happening within. If you do not reclaim your presence now, you will be offline long before the power grid is. If you do not train your mind now, your fear will command your every step. This is not about panic. It's about mastery. If you're waiting for the world to warn you, you're already too late. The warning is your anxiety. The alarm is your exhaustion. The signal is your restlessness. Listen. There is still time to reconnect to breath, time to remember who you are, time to rebuild inner order. But not much. August is not just a month, it's a threshold. You cross it blindly, or you cross it with awareness. One leads to shutdown, the other to awakening. Choose wisely. The world is changing, will you? Your energy is your currency in this world, more valuable than time, more limited than money, and more easily stolen than either. Every day, forces you can't see are working to drain it. Not by force, but by design. The structure of the digital world, the overload of information, the noise of opinions, the constant demand for your reaction. These are not random. They are engineered to pull you out of presence and into exhaustion. And if you're not aware, you're already being hijacked. You wake up and your phone lights up. Even before you stand, before you stretch, before you breathe, you're already exposed. Messages, news, alerts, content, none of it asking for your permission. All of it demanding your attention. And every time you give it freely, you spend something far more valuable than a second. You spend your energy. It's no longer about how many hours you have in a day. It's about how much energy you can protect. Because without energy, time is useless. Without energy, you can't think clearly, can't move with purpose, can't feel connected to yourself. You're awake, but you're not alive. The world has become a battlefield of attention. Everything you see is a weapon built to distract, to trigger, to hook. The goal isn't to inform you. It's to keep you scrolling, clicking, consuming. And the price you pay for this constant flood of stimulation is your ability to focus, to feel, to remain still. You stop choosing where your energy goes. It starts leaking everywhere, into things that don't matter, into conversations that don't nourish, into thoughts that leave you more scattered than before. This is not accidental. It is a quiet theft, and like all forms of theft, it's invisible until you notice what's missing. Suddenly, your willpower is weak. You lose interest in your routines. Your body feels heavy. Your mind can't stay still. You think it's burnout. You think it's lack of motivation. But what's really happened is this: your energy has been spent without your awareness on things you never chose. You're running on empty and you don't know why. August brings a unique kind of pressure. There's tension in the air, unseen but real, more noise, more uncertainty, more chaos. And if you're not careful, the month will drain you before it even ends. That's why this isn't just a warning. It's a call to reclaim your power. Because once you learn to protect your energy, you become unstoppable. Not because the world calms down, but because you are no longer shaken by it. The first step is awareness. Become ruthless about where your energy goes. Not everything deserves a reaction. Not every notification needs your eyes. Not every conversation is worthy of your words. When you speak out of impulse, you give energy. When you scroll mindlessly, you give energy. When you worry about things outside your control, you give energy. And every time you give, something inside you dims. So you must begin to take back control, deliberately, unapologetically. Protect your mornings like sacred ground. Before the world asks anything of you, ground yourself. Breathe deeply. Move your body. Speak nothing. React to nothing. These are your first victories of the day. They seem small, but they build spiritual muscle. They reprogram your nervous system to respond from strength, not fear. These early moments become your shield, because when your mind is still, the world loses its grip on you. Throughout the day, check in with your breath. It's the most honest feedback you'll ever get. If it's shallow, you're scattered. If it's held, you're bracing. If it's smooth and deep, you're present. Let your breath guide your pace, not your inbox. Every time you return to it, you interrupt the cycle of reaction. You return to center. You reclaim what's yours. Begin to say no more often, not out of coldness, but out of respect for your energy. Declining what drains you is an act of power. Walking away from noise is an act of wisdom. Not explaining your boundaries is an act of maturity. Your energy is not infinite. You cannot save everyone. You are not here to be everything to everyone. You are here to guard your flame so that it burns long enough to fulfill your true purpose. Understand this deeply. The world doesn't get quieter. The attacks on your attention don't stop, but your ability to stay calm amidst the noise that grows. Your discipline becomes your protection, your rituals become your armor, and your clarity becomes your guide. When you protect your energy, you begin to live differently. You move slower, but with force. You speak less, but with meaning. You do fewer things, but with full presence. That's power. The most dangerous thing isn't that you'll burn out. It's that you'll normalize burnout. That you'll forget what it feels like to be fully alive. That you'll live half present, half inspired, half awake, and call it a life. Don't let that happen. August is not here to break you. It's here to reveal what needs to change. And it begins with energy. Protect it like your future depends on it. Because it does. August is not just another month on the calendar. It's a threshold, a spiritual pivot point, a portal, subtle, silent, but immensely powerful. Most people will pass through it unconsciously, unaware that something has shifted. But for those who are awake, those who are paying attention, August is the month where patterns reveal themselves, cycles intensify, and what you've been ignoring comes back tenfold. This is the month of reversal, the moment where your choices echo louder than ever, where the things you buried don't stay buried. They rise, and the question is, will you rise with them or be crushed beneath them? In ancient systems of wisdom, spiritual, energetic, even agricultural, August represents the end of growth and the beginning of harvest. It's where the seeds you planted earlier in the year begin to show what they've become. Whether you nurtured your energy or wasted it, whether you built discipline or gave into distraction, whether you moved from intention or impulse, August reveals the results. This is not punishment, it's reflection. The universe doesn't judge, it reflects. and August holds the mirror. What you experience this month is not random. It's the magnification of your habits, the amplification of your focus or your lack of it. If you've been drifting, you'll feel lost. If you've been lying to yourself, the truth will hit harder. If you've been walking in alignment, the path will suddenly become clear. Because August brings exposure, not through drama, but through pattern. It quietly pulls back the curtain and asks, are you prepared for what you've created? The reversal doesn't mean chaos for everyone. In fact, for those who are prepared, August is a month of acceleration. It's the moment when invisible work becomes visible results. It's when silence bears fruit. It's when the slow and steady become the unstoppable. But for those who have ignored the signs, pushed aside the inner voice, or delayed their alignment, August can feel like collapse, not because the month is cursed, but because reality speeds up. It no longer waits for you to catch up. It demands your presence. And here's where most people miss the truth. This reversal isn't external. It starts within. It's not the world that turns upside down. It's you who must turn inward. The answers won't come from the news, or the markets, or even the opinions of those around you. They'll come in moments of stillness, in the quiet before the noise, in the breath before the storm. You'll feel a tug inside, like something is calling you back to your essence. Listen to that. It's not weakness, it's your compass. You see, reversal isn't destruction, it's redirection. It's the universe saying, you can't keep going like this. It's life refusing to let you sleepwalk any longer. It's your spirit reminding you that you're here for something greater. But here's the hard truth. Transformation always feels like loss before it feels like freedom. The reversal will take from you everything that's fake. The mask, the noise, the distractions, the half-truths. And it will hurt not because it's punishment, but because you've grown attached to the very things holding you back. This is the moment to choose power over comfort, to lean into the discomfort, not run from it, to trust that the breakdown is part of the breakthrough, because once you understand the nature of August, you stop fearing it. You start working with it, you begin to cleanse what no longer serves, confront what you've avoided, and commit to what truly matters. You make decisions not from fear of loss, but from clarity of purpose. Ask yourself, what cycles am I repeating? What energy am I carrying that's not mine? What am I avoiding that I already know I must face? These are not soft questions. They are spiritual fire. They burn through illusions. And August will not wait for you to answer them slowly. It will press. It will squeeze. It will test your readiness to evolve. And if you resist, the pressure increases, not to break you, but to awaken you. This month is an opportunity disguised as a disruption. It is a cosmic invitation to level up your awareness, your actions, and your alignment. If you move with intention, if you slow down enough to see, you'll notice patterns repeating, conversations, emotions, events. This is your chance to respond differently, to rewrite the story, to take a different step in the same dance. This is the portal of reversal. It doesn't close with a bang, it closes in silence. And once it's gone, the next cycle begins. Either you'll rise, having aligned with truth, or you'll repeat, still shackled to what you refuse to let go. That's not destiny, that's choice. And that choice is made in the small moments. The breath you take before reacting, the routine you return to even when it's hard, the decision to trust yourself even when the world feels uncertain. So, as August unfolds, be deliberate, be quiet, be clear, let go of what drains you, Return to what grounds you. And remember, you are not here to survive patterns. You are here to break them. Let this reversal be the one that returns you to your true path. Stronger, quieter, and more unshakably aligned than ever before. When the world begins to unravel, most people panic. They look outward. They chase gossip, speculation. They move fast, speak loud, try to stay ahead of the chaos. But they never do, because the faster you run in fear, the further you drift from strength. The ones who survive collapse are never the loudest. They're the quiet ones, the grounded ones, the ones who prepared in silence while others entertained noise. When things fall apart, panic is instinct, but silence is strategy. Preparation isn't what most people think. It's not about hoarding supplies, stacking currency, or living in paranoia. True preparation begins in the unseen spaces within your mind, your breath, your behavior. When storms rise, it's your stillness that keeps you centered. When systems break, it's your inner structure that carries you. If your preparation is based on panic, it will collapse the moment pressure hits. But if it's built on awareness, on stillness, on mastery of the self, it becomes unshakable. Look around. Everyone is busy reacting to headlines, reacting to posts, reacting to the energy of others. Reaction is exhausting. It's the opposite of clarity. It drains your attention and scatters your strength. But in contrast, those who train themselves to pause, to breathe, to move from calm, not chaos, are operating from a completely different frequency. This is the level you must reach if you're going to thrive in what's coming. August doesn't ask for your reaction. It demands your presence. This is the month that tests who's grounded and who's guessing, who's practiced peace and who only pretended. The world is shifting fast, and what you once relied on is no longer certain. External systems, economic, social, political, may shake or even collapse. But the most important question isn't, what if the world breaks? It's, what will I do if it does? The answer to that is found in the preparation you've done in silence. Have you practiced presence in your mornings, or have you drowned yourself in distraction? Have you kept your word to yourself, even when no one was watching? Have you trained your body to move under pressure? Have you trained your mind to remain still in uncertainty? If not, then the panic you feel isn't because of the world, it's because of your own unreadiness. In times of crisis, people look for leaders, stable minds, grounded hearts, calm decision makers. But here's the truth. You can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. And you can't lead yourself if your only training ground has been comfort. That's why silence matters. That's why preparation is sacred. Because the way you train when it's quiet is the way you perform when it's loud. The real work is invisible. It happens before anything goes wrong. When you master silence, you master space. And in space, you can see clearly. You can respond, not react. You can decide, not be driven. You can move from awareness, not from fear. This is preparation, not flashy, not dramatic, but powerful. It's the strength to say, I'm ready. Not because the world told you to be, but because you chose to be. Long before the test arrived, stillness is not inaction. It's high-level readiness. When a martial artist stands still, they are not doing nothing. They are observing, conserving, waiting for the exact moment to strike. This is not passivity, it's precision. And this is how you must prepare, by watching the patterns, by studying your own mind, by eliminating what dulls you, by sharpening what strengthens you. What does panic preparation look like? It looks like scrambling to fix things externally while ignoring your internal mess. It's stockpiling resources without learning how to breathe deeply under stress. It's watching every piece of news but neglecting your own sleep, your own discipline, your own energy field. That's not power. That's dependency disguised as strategy. You can't build safety by clinging to systems that are themselves unstable. True preparation is building something the world can't take from you. That means breath work. That means clean routines. That means time spent in stillness, reflection, and movement. It means letting go of the need to react instantly. It means trusting your intuition over information. It means practicing detachment from outcomes and rooting your peace in action, not control. Because no one controls collapse, but everyone chooses their response. And silence isn't just about avoiding noise. It's about hearing yourself again. Panic drowns out your inner voice, but silence lets it return. It tells you what's real, what's urgent, what's noise, what's truth. You can't hear that guidance if you're always plugged in, always scrolling, always reacting. You need quiet to restore wisdom. You need stillness to remember your strength. So when the headlines scream, when the fear spreads, when others lose themselves in anxiety, you'll remember this. I prepared when it was quiet. I trained when no one watched. I strengthened what matters. I protected my spirit. I returned to breath. I chose discipline. I walked the path not out of fear, but out of focus. This is the difference. When panic sets in, you'll walk in peace. When confusion rises, you'll move with clarity. Because you didn't wait for permission to begin preparing. You didn't need the world to break before deciding to build yourself. And that is power.